I have debated for almost a year whether to share this. Part of me still doesn't believe it happened to me, and another part of me knows the second I put into words, it becomes real in a way I can't ignore it anymore. But the nightmares haven't stopped, and every time the full moon rolls around, I find myself lying awake, sweating and listening, waiting for something will never come scratching at my windows again. So I am going to write it all as best as I can. Just know that what I saw in Black Hollow wasn't a story, and it wasn't some trick of my imagination. It was real. God help me, it was real. I am a wildlife photographer. I have spent the better part of 15 years chasing animals across the country and sometimes outside it, hoping to capture the moments that most people will never see with their own eyes. I have been charged by a moose. I have been stood 15 feet from a wild grizzly bear. I have watched wolf pack take down a deer in the snow. I am not new to the danger. I am not too prone to exaggerate the things I have witnessed. If anything, I am too skeptical for my own good, but this experience, it was different. It all started when a friend of mine, another photographer who liked to chase folklore and legends, mentioned this tiny town in Appalachian foothills called Black Hollow. He told me that for decades, locals there whispered about something crawling in the woods under the full moon. Cows gutted in pastures, sheep torn apart, even guard dogs going missing. Some people called it coyotes, others said feral dogs. The more superstitious spoke of curses and monsters. My friend laughed it off, but the way he told the story made me curious about it. I started looking online, but there wasn't much. Just scattered mentions on old message boards, a couple of blurry photos of dead animals, a lot of locals warning outsiders to mind their own business when we were there. That only made me want to go there. It was in early October when I packed my car. It was in early October when I packed my stuff and readied my car and made the trip. The farther I drove into the mountains, the narrower the road got, until the trees were so close on both sides that it felt like driving through a tunnel. By the time I was within a few miles of the town, my GPS lost its signal completely. No cell service either, just me and the road and miles of dense forest that swallowed the sunlight. I didn't pass another car for almost an hour while traveling through there. When the town finally appeared, it was almost daring. A handful of houses sagging with age, a boarded-up gas station, a diner with flickering neon sign, the kind of place time forgot. And right at the edge where the forest threatened to reclaim it, an old hotel. 2 stories, wooden siding, weathered grey. A sign that looked like it had been painted since the 60s. Inside, the air smelled like dust. The lobby had a desk, a couch sagging in the middle, and wallpaper peeling at the corners. Behind the counter sat a man in his 60s, gowned, with sharp features and tired eyes. His name, I later learned, was Miss Craig. I told him I'd be staying for a couple of nights, working on a photography project in the woods. He handed me a key without much ceremony. But before I could walk away, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "Don't go into the woods during a full moon, not if you value your skin." The way he said it, quiet, flat, no hint of humor, that unnerved me. I tried to play it off, asked if it was because the hunters or something dangerous in the area. He just shook his head. "Something's out there, ain't meant to be seen." Then he looked past me as if the conversation was over. That night, I walked into the town hoping to find someone willing to talk about it. The diner was the only place open. A few locals sat outside smoking, and when they saw me, the conversation dipped. I asked casually about the wildlife, if there were any wolves in the area. The oldest of the group, a man with a wiry beard and hand like knocked wood, muttered, "No wolves here, not for a long time." After that, I came back to my room and I went to bed. That night with my curiosity burning hotter than ever before. The next evening, I headed into the forest with my gear. The moon was full and hung low, turning the leaves silver. I walked for an hour, setting up motion sensor camera along the game trail and near a creek. The deeper I went, the more wrong everything felt. No crickets, no frogs, no owls either, just completely silent, thick and heavy, pressing against my ears. Then I smelled it. At first, I thought it was just something dead nearby, a raccoon, or maybe a deer. But the longer I stood there, the worse it got. A stench like wet fur mixed with rotten meat, something sharp, metallic, like blood. It made my stomach twitch. That's when I heard the growl. It came from the trees ahead, low and guttural, but there was something off about it. It wasn't purely animal. There was a depth, almost a resonance, that it made sound disturbingly close to a human. The hair on my back of my neck stood up. I swung my flashlight, but the beam caught nothing. My hand shook as I raised my camera and snapped a photo. The flash lit up the forest for a split second, and in that instant, I saw two eyes. Amber, glowing fixed on me from between the tree lines, and below of them the outline of something massive, broad shoulders covered in shaggy fur, limbs that too long, and a snout just forward with grinding teeth, upright and watching my every move. The flash died, plugging me back into the darkness. My head slammed against my ribs. My brain screamed at me to run. But I was froze, staring into the black gap where the eyes had been. The smell grew stronger, and I heard branches creak under the weight, and it was moving closer. That broke me. I turned and ran. My flashlight beam swung widely, catching glimpses of trunks and roots before I nearly tripped over them. Behind me, I heard it crashing through the trees, heavy and fast. But it wasn't on four legs. I could tell them from the rhythm of the footsteps. It was upright and running like a man. When the hotel finally came into the view, I threw myself inside and slammed the door shut. Miss Crane was behind the desk. He didn't ask me what happened. He just looked at me and said, "You saw it, didn't you?" I couldn't answer. My whole body was shaking. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of the wind against the window had me on the edge. The next morning, I thought about leaving, but when I checked the camera I strapped to my chest, I found a blurry frame of it. Amber eyes, glowing in the dark, for catching the light of my flash. It wasn't proof anyone would believe, but it was enough for me, enough to know I hadn't imagined it all. And like a fool, I told myself I had to go back one more night. That evening, I stayed closer to the inn, maybe a 10 minutes run away. I had my GoPro on, a stronger flashlight this time, even a hunting knife strapped to my belt, though I doubted it would do much good. Around midnight, the forest went still again, then the smell, and then the growl. I was standing in the middle of the forest. There is darkness around me. I have heard wolf before, but this wasn't a wolf. The sound stretched too long, broke half like vocal cords tearing, rising in pitch until it almost became a scream. It vibrated through my bones. When the howl cut off, I realized it was close, too close. Then I spun my light, and there was it. Standing at the tree line, upright, chest rising and falling. Eyes locked on me. It took a step forward, claws scraping down the bark of the tree with a sound that made my teeth ache. After seeing that, I turned and I ran. I don't remember much except the pure panic. My feet barely seemed to touch the ground. Behind me it roared, a sound that wasn't animal and wasn't human either, but something in between. The forest exploded with noise as it chased me, branches snapping, earth shaking under its weight. I reached the hotel and slammed the door behind me. My lungs burned, my vision blurred. For a moment, I thought I was safe. Then the scratching started on my window. Slow at first, then faster. The glass trembled and cracks spread across it. My stomach dropped. My room was on the second floor. I turned off the light and went into the closet. After some time, the scratching still continued, and I didn't wait any longer. I grabbed my bag, my keys, everything I could carry, and I ran. As I tore down from the hotel, I heard the sound of shattering glass above me. I didn't stop to check on Mr. Crane. I didn't look back. I jumped into my car, slammed the door, and drove like hell, tires spinning in the gravel as I fled that cursed town. I drove until the sky lightened with dawn, then pulled into a rest stop and sat there shaking, barely able to breathe. When I finally checked my GoPro footage, most of it was useless. Taking lights, panicked gasps, blurred shapes, but in one frame, frozen in the chaos, you can see it. A face in the trees, a snout, teeth burned, eyes burning like coals. And that image burned in my mind forever. Hope you guys like this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to this channel and enable the bell icon so you don't miss new uploads. And also, check out other videos in this channel too. Like them and share them. And if you have any suggestions or any improvements I need to make in this channel, please post them in the comment section. Till next time, this is Malayali Wendigo. Bye.